The year is 1988. The arena is shaking. Thousands of people are screaming one name. Flashbulbs are popping like a lightning storm that won't end. In the center of the ring stands a 22-year-old man. He is wearing no robe, no socks, just black trunks and a towel with a hole cut in the center. He doesn't smile. He doesn't wave. He stares through his opponent as if looking at a ghost. The bell rings. 91 seconds later, the other man is unconscious. The world gasps. They call him a god. They call him the baddest man on the planet. But freeze that frame. Look closer at the eyes, the terror hiding behind the ferocity. Before he was a god, he was a project. Before he was a weapon, he was a wound. And the architect of this machine was gone. Rewind. Go back to the silence. Catskill, New York, early 1980s. Snow resting like silence over the small town. Inside the old boxing gym, humidity hangs like breath in a coffin. The air smells of rotting leather, moldy plywood, and sweat dried into ropes. A scared shape moves past the doorway. Mike Tyson, age 13. Fat cheeks, pigeon-toed stance, eyes jittering with animal panic like a stray trying to read danger. He doesn't enter. He lurks. There is an old man waiting inside, Cus D'Amato, bald, intense, eyes like blue frost. When he speaks, his voice is brittle but sharp, a cracked violin string that still cuts beautifully. "You don't have to be scared of the world, kid," he says. "You only have to be trained to beat it." Mike tries to look away, but those eyes don't allow escape. This is not a coach meeting a boy. This is a sculptor discovering raw marble, already cracked, already bleeding. Cus hands Mike gloves. "Hit the bag." Mike obeys timidly. The punch is sloppy, quiet. Again, Mike punches harder. The bag jolts. Something animal flickers in his eyes, a spark of appetite. Cus leans forward. "That thing in you, that violence, it is not shame, it is potential." Mike stares at the ground, almost embarrassed. Cus whispers, "You don't have a mother who protects you. You don't have a father who guides you, but you have me, if you want." The gym feels colder. Something shifts in Mike. A longing, quickly hidden. The programming begins. Cus invites him into his home. Dinner table, candle lit, shadows dancing on the walls. The room smells like old books, garlic, and hopeful delusion. Mike eats ravenously, mouth full, eyes guarded. Cus watches, not judging, studying. He speaks between slow bites. "You are going to be the youngest heavyweight champion the world has ever seen." Mike laughs. A wounded animal's laugh. Cus doesn't smile. "I'm not asking. I'm telling you." Silence fills the room, thick, uncomfortable. Mike realizes this man isn't crazy. He's certain. Night. Mike lies in a small guest room. Bare walls, the faint hum of the Catskill wind. Cus stands at the doorway. "I'm gonna teach your mind while you sleep," he says, placing a cassette recorder beside the bed. He presses play. "You are the champion. You are unstoppable. You are a warrior. No one can hurt you." The voice is slow, rhythmic. Hypnosis. The tape loops for hours. Mike stares at the ceiling, wide-eyed. Then, something stranger. Mike whispers along with the recording, barely audible. A new identity forming. Daytime. Cus drills him with words, not punches. "You are not just fighting men. You are fighting their belief in themselves. Break that, and their body falls easily." Cus moves his hands like a conductor. "Fear will make you dangerous, but discipline will make you invincible." Mike absorbs it all. His eyes no longer look away. In dim rooms, Cus talks softly like a priest. There is Mike Tyson, the frightened boy, Cus says, and there is Iron Mike, the destroyer. You must bury the boy. You must become the god. Mike feels it, two selves forming. Cus leans close. I will train your fists, but I am really training your spirit. I am creating someone that never existed before. Mike breathes heavier. He doesn't understand fully, but he believes. Training gym again. Sweat stings Mike's eyes. Gloves thud into the heavy bag. Violent, rhythmic, thud, thud, thud. Cus's voice behind him. Beautiful. Mike hears the praise, a language he has never known. Every punch feels like vengeance on childhood beatings, retaliation for abandonment, hunger for belonging. He hits until his knuckles scream, until oxygen burns like acid, and in that pain, he finds solace. Night again. Mike lies in the same bed. Tapes play, voice looping like fate. You are a god of war. No one can defeat you. He is half asleep, but his lips move with the affirmations. Across the hallway, Cus listens, smiling in the dark. He whispers to himself, I have found my monster. Catskill mornings are cold enough to numb bone. Yet inside the gym, heat hangs heavy, breathing, steaming. Mike Tyson is 15 now. The fat is gone. The eyes are still haunted, but something stands behind them now. Purpose. He wakes before dawn not because someone forces him, but because Cus said champions rise before the sun. The gym smells stronger than ever. Sweat baked into canvas. Old gloves curing like leather tombstones. Liniment oil sharp enough to burn the nose. Metal plates clatter in the corner. Mike doing neck bridges, that strange gym ritual. Bent backward like a human suspension bridge, the weight of his entire body on the crown of his skull. Cus watches him like a proud but stern father. His voice is always the same, whispering yet commanding. Strength is built in places you want to quit. Mike trembles, neck quivering under gravity. He wants to collapse, but collapsing means disappointing him. So he holds. Sparring sessions. Mike takes punches from older fighters. Not training, initiation. The crack of leather on cheekbone. Sharp, wet, sickening. Cus doesn't rush in to stop it. He walks the ring's perimeter, cane tapping wood with every step. Tap, tap, tap. That sound becomes the metronome of Mike's awakening. Cus's instruction slices the air. Move your head. Break him psychologically. You are fire, burned out. Mike blocks, slips, counters, rage fusing with technique. The punches hurt, but the pain feels acceptable. He never knew pain could serve him. Outside the ring, something stranger, something tender begins. Cus calls him son sometimes. Not often, but enough to matter. Movie nights. Old fight films flickering in the dark living room. Tunney, Dempsey, Louie. Ghosts who lived inside Cus's imagination. Mike sits covered in a blanket Cus brought him. The boy who used to hide from fists now sits wanting to be seen. Sometimes, after a brutal sparring day, Mike limps through the kitchen doorway. Cus doesn't ask if he is hurt. He tells him, "You survived worse before you ever walked into my gym." Those words land deeper than any punch. There are nights where the house is silent, except for the wind against the siding, and Mike chewing too fast at dinner because he still expects someone to take food away. Cus tells him to slow down. Mike tries. Nobody has ever asked him to slow down. Paperwork on a wooden desk, the ink smells like permanence. Mike reads none of it, but he signs everything Cus places in front of him. Cus becomes legal guardian. The gym erupts. Fighters clapping, trainers patting Mike's head. Mike tries to hide a smile. He was no longer a stray dog. He was claimed. November 1985. Catskill feels colder than ever. The house seems too quiet. No cane tapping, no voice directing fate, no whisper commanding destiny. Cus is in a hospital bed now, skin thin like parchment, eyes fading like a dying flame. Mike approaches the bed like a boxer approaching the ring. Fear disguised as silence. Doctors murmur outside. Inside the room, just the boy and the architect. Cus's voice is no longer sharp. It rattles, breaks, comes in fragments. Mike, promise me, you will not become. The animal life tried to make you. Mike tries not to cry. His throat locks. Cus grips his hand, a weak claw but still control. Win the title, but win your soul. Mike whispers, I'll do it for you. Cus smiles, a faint twitch. The room smells of bleach and dying skin. Cus's final breath is not dramatic. It is small. Almost embarrassed, Mike does not scream. He stands, walks out of the room. He finds a wall in the hallway and quietly slams his head into it, over and over, until nurses drag him away. The funeral is muted. Mike sits alone, hands clenched between his knees, face expressionless. He hears none of the words. Inside him, a switch flips. The softness Cus built, it calcifies. The orphan returned, but now he had armor. Training resumes, but no voice guides him now. The gym smells the same, but sounds different. Mitts hitting hands, not philosophy. Kevin Rooney steps in. Cus's disciple, but he isn't Cus. He can sharpen the body, but not the soul. Mike trains with a new flavor of silence. Head movement tighter, hands quicker, punches heavier, like trying to kill ghosts. Sparring sessions become violent. Mike doesn't just hit, he hunts. Partners fear stepping in with him. Some leave bleeding, some quit. Rooney tries to calm him. Mike, breathe. Mike snarls, no one can hurt me now. But that is not bravado. It is a terrified mantra. The style Cus gave him, the peekaboo, changes. It is no longer elegant aggression. It becomes weaponized trauma, head bobbing like a predator, gloves tight to cheeks, explosions from the ground up. Every punch is Cus's absence, translated into violence. Love left. Rage replaced it. People watching didn't realize they were witnessing not just technique, but grief turned into kinetics. Night. Mike in a cheap apartment hotel room. Silence louder than any crowd. Lights off. The city hum faint through the window. He lies on the bed, staring upward. The tape recorder Cus once used sits on the nightstand. He presses play. But the battery is dying. The affirmation that once molded him, you are unstoppable. You are a god. Warps and slurs, breaking into static. Mike turns the volume up. The static fills the room, his eyes close. But no peace comes. The god was nearly finished. But the boy was now truly alone. 1985 to 1986. The arenas grow bigger, the lights brighter. But the rooms Mike sleeps in are always the same, dark, hollow, unadorned. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't smile. He wakes, he trains, he destroys. People call it a rise, but it doesn't feel like ascension to him. It feels like obedience to a dead man's prophecy. Gym sounds, thwack of gloves on the bag, jump rope whirring like electric wire, men muttering fear instead of inspiration. Reporters surround him now. They ask about fame, money, women. Mike gives single-syllable answers, as if language costs pain. Rooney tells the press, he's young, but he's not a kid. He's a mission. He walks in robes? No. Mike Tyson enters fights draped in black trunks, black boots, and nothing on his upper body but a towel with a hole cut through it. No robe, because robes are for mortals. He wants to look like execution day. Opponents feel it before the bell. He doesn't look at them. He stares through them. The walk-in is quiet. No music, just the doom of the arena shifting. Most fighters enter the ring. Tyson entered to bury someone. Hector Mercedes flattened. Trent Singleton erased. Eddie Richardson dismantled. Marvis Frazier folded in 30 seconds. Each knockout is a punctuation mark on Cus's prophecy. He doesn't celebrate. He walks to the corner, neutral, robotic, as though finishing chores. Commentators call it power. His sparring partners know it's grief turned kinetic. November 22nd, 1986. Las Vegas. Hilton Hotel Arena. Trevor Berbick, WBC champion. Older, confident, oblivious. Mike Tyson, 20 years old, jaw tight, eyes venomous. The locker room smells of antiseptic, leather, and distant popcorn from the stands. Mike wraps his hands slowly, but inside there is a storm. He whispers, "Cus, I'm here." Rooney hears it, doesn't comment. Crowd electric, TV cameras shaking. Tyson emerges. No robe, just black towel. Like an executioner on his shift. Berbick watches from across the ring. He keeps pacing. Overcompensating bravado. Commentator whispers, he looks terrified. Round 1. Bell rings. Tyson explodes. Not reckless, but surgical violence. He slips Berbick's jab with head movement that looks inhuman, like gravity bends differently around him. Boom, left hook to body, gut-deep thud. Air leaves Berbick's lungs. Boom, right hand across the jaw. Berbick staggers, eyes wide, realizing this isn't boxing, it's survival. Tyson stalks with peekaboo rhythm. Gloves near cheeks, steps small, precise, predatory. Berbick was fighting for his title. Tyson was fighting for his father's ghost. Round 2. Bell again. The crowd already sensing blood. Mike walks across the ring deliberately, no wasted motion. Berbick tries to clinch. Tyson rips uppercuts inside, short, devastating. Then it happens. Left hook, temple level, sound like a gunshot. Berbick falls sideways. He gets up, wobbling, drunken. Referee counts, fight resumes. Tyson steps forward, throws a right-left combination. Berbick collapses again. He tries to stand. Legs betray him. He falls once, twice, 3 times, as if invisible hands push him down. Arena erupts. Commentator screams, "He can't stay up, he's done!" Ref waves it off. 20 years old, youngest heavyweight champion in history. Camera flash, frenzy. People rush the ring. Managers, promoters, reporters, leeches. Mike stands motionless. Hands down, breathing heavy. Rooney hugs him. He tries to celebrate, but Mike's eyes are distant. They hand him the WBC belt. Commentator, Mike Tyson, the undefeated, undisputed new champion. Crowd roars like apocalypse. Mike looks at the belt. It shines. It feels heavy. Too heavy. He expected this moment to fix him, but inside his head, instead of triumph, a question. Why doesn't this feel like anything? He whispers, barely audible, "Cus, it's done." But nobody answers. Press asks him, "Mike, how does it feel to be champion?" He shrugs. "Good." Later, alone in his hotel room. Lights off, belt on the table. Silence. So deep you can hear the hum of air conditioner coils. He lies back on the bed. The title didn't heal the wound. It just proved the wound created the champion. The world celebrated a coronation. Mike Tyson experienced a confirmation that even victory cannot resurrect the dead. He turns the championship belt over in his hands, frowning like a child with a broken toy, not smiling, but confused. as if realizing that the summit is not salvation, but the start of another fall. Atlantic City or Las Vegas. It doesn't matter. Every arena feels like a cathedral now, and Tyson is its unforgiven deity. Hotels upgrade from cramped rooms to presidential suites with marble floors and chandeliers like frozen lightning. But the rooms grow larger than his spirit can fill. Reporters call him the baddest man on the planet. Commentators speak of him in myth. Opponents lose fights before they enter the ring. Then, the night that crystallizes the myth, Michael Spinks. 91 seconds. The arena reeks of adrenaline and perfume, big money and bloodlust mixed in the air. Mike walks to the ring. Same black towel, same dead eyes. Spinks looks like a condemned man masquerading as a champion. Bell rings. Tyson detonates. Uppercut, hooks, cross. Spinks collapses in 91 seconds. Commentator screams, "Mike Tyson destroys Michael Spinks in 1 round." The image becomes a symbol. Power incarnate. Confidence pure, primal, terrifying. He is not a fighter anymore. He is mythological. But let's leave the arena. Let's enter the suite afterward. Camera glides across the silent carpet. No coaches, no laughter, no father figure. Just Mike in the darkness with the glow of city lights bleeding through curtains. The room is too large, the silence too thick. He sits on the edge of the bed, hands on knees, head hanging. Loneliness is the price of fear-based worship. Fame fills stadiums, but empties rooms. When he speaks, his voice startles even him. Hoarse, childlike, "Cus, I did it again." But again, no answer. The belt rests on the table like a trophy someone forgot to collect. He walks to the window. City lights flicker. Somewhere below, a crowd still chants his name. Up here, only the hum of air conditioning. He whispers to himself, "Why am I still hungry?" Outside the ring, parasitic circles grow. Promoters, sycophants, users. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny. They agree with decisions that are destructive. They never say no. Luxury cars, endless women, VIP lounges. This is the new training ground. Not discipline, but decay. His punches remain sharp. His judgment did not. Enter Don King. Hair spiked like electric arrogance. Smile too bright, handshake too warm. He slithers near the throne. "You're the greatest in the world, Mike, but these people around you, they're stealing from you." He poisons Mike against the old guard. The Cus disciples, especially Kevin Rooney. Mike longs for protection, and the serpent offers it. At a price. Soon, Rooney is fired. The last voice of discipline, gone. The peekaboo system begins to erode. Technique gives way to instinct. Instinct gives way to ego. Without a shepherd, the wolf loses its direction and becomes a stray again. Enter Robin Givens. Beautiful, articulate, dangerous. She doesn't fall under Tyson's spell. She studies it. The relationship is turbulent, passion turning acidic. One moment tenderness, the next volatility spilling into tabloids. Then the infamous television interview. Mike sitting beside her, eyes half dead, while she describes him as unstable, abusive, threatening. Camera captures Mike's face, confusion, betrayal. The god of war found a battlefield he could not conquer. Someone who attacked his identity, not his body. Parties replace roadwork. Champagne replaces discipline. Entitlement replaces hunger. Hotel rooms fill with strangers, with vultures, with noise. But there are nights he sits alone in a dark bathroom staring at his reflection. He doesn't recognize the man in the mirror, But he also doesn't see the boy he once was. His eyes look like abandoned property. Sparring sessions shorten. Training camps become vacations. Punches are still powerful, but no longer precise. Decay rarely begins as collapse. It starts as neglect. People keep telling him he's invincible. He believes them. That is the most fatal victory. Music booming in distant rooms. Women laughing. Don King whispering deals. Friends counting money that isn't theirs. We pass all of them and find Mike alone in a private room, lights off. The belt sits on the floor. His forehead presses against glass as he stares at blinking city lights. The crown was polished, but hollow. The god of war is tired, not from battle, but from existing. Tokyo, 1990. Cold, neon, quiet city. The opposite of Vegas chaos. Mike Tyson arrives months before the fight, but not to train. To indulge. Suites crowded with strangers, models, hangers-on. Tables cluttered with alcohol, leftover room service, dull remnants of excess. He barely runs. He barely spars. His body is still monstrous, but his spirit is unclipped, unguarded. Gods don't sharpen their swords until they bleed. His trainers warn him. Douglas is tall, disciplined, hungry. Tyson shrugs. He's a tune-up. There's a hollow ring to his confidence. Deep down, he knows Cus's discipline is gone, and no one has replaced it. But ego is louder than doubt. Hotel silence. Women asleep in tangled sheets. Champagne bottles overturned like casualties. Tyson sits alone on the balcony in Tokyo winter air. Breath fogs. City lights blink far below, like dying embers. He whispers, "Cus, where are you?" But the wind doesn't carry answers, only the sting of cold. He goes to bed late, too late. He does not dream. He disappears into sleep like someone drowning. Tokyo Dome, not roaring, murmuring, curious. Douglas walks in like a man on mission. His mother has just died. He fights for grief, for meaning. Tyson walks in like a man attending paperwork. No black towel on the head, no aura. Something invisible is missing. Commentators sense it. He looks flat. Round one, bell, Tyson charges, but it's different. Wild, undisciplined, no head movement. Douglas stays tall, jab stiff, snapping Tyson's head back with irritating ease. Pop, pop, pop. The sound doesn't echo violence. It sounds like exposure. The myth begins to leak. Time slows. Douglas jabs him relentlessly. Tyson swings hooks. They miss by inches. His breathing grows thick. His corner looks confused. Douglas grows bolder. Bang. Overhand right. Tyson staggers, eyes wide. Crowd gasps. They've never seen him hurt. Commentator. Mike is having trouble, real trouble. Between rounds, the camera enters his corner. Trainer presses an ice pack against his swollen cheek. Tyson's breath is ragged. "Where's my defense?" he mutters. No one answers. There is no Cus, no Rooney, no father voice, only noise. Round 8. Douglas gets careless. Mike launches the signature uppercut. Boom. Douglas collapses. Stadium erupts. Tyson walks to neutral corner, a flicker of invincibility. But Douglas rises on the 9 count, focused, enraged, unbroken. Tyson's eyes flicker confusion. His enemy did not collapse. Something sacred broke. Round 9. Douglas dominates, jabs, crosses. Tyson's head snapping back like a broken hinge. Mike looks exhausted. Not physically, but spiritually. His mouth bleeds. His eye swells shut. The camera catches something horrifying. He looks lost. The crowd senses it. The myth is bleeding. Round 10. Douglas starts stalking. Jab, jab, right hand. Then uppercut from hell. Tyson falls. His mouthpiece shoots out, rolling on canvas like a lost tooth. Mike tries to rise, but his legs betray him. He crawls, crawling like a baby, like a man searching for something that isn't there. He reaches for his mouthpiece, not his balance. The god of war crawled on hands and knees, searching for identity instead of survival. Ref reaches 10. Fight is over. The myth shattered. Tyson sits in the corner, gloves hanging like dead limbs, face swollen, breath shallow. He hears the crowd cheer another man. Douglas lifts his arms, the hero, the avenger. Tyson stares blankly as if watching someone steal his dream. Later. Hotel bathroom. Dim light, mirror fogged. Mike leans forward, blood in dried streaks, eye purple, lip split. He looks at himself. Truly looks. For the first time in years, he doesn't see Iron Mike. His voice is barely audible. Michael. The name feels foreign, but right. In the ruins of the god, the orphan reappeared. He rinses his face, water pink with defeat. He whispers in the empty room, "Cus, I'm sorry." No answer, only the drip of the faucet. The god of war is gone. All that remains is the boy searching for a father who isn't coming back. Mike alone, mirror cracked across his reflection.